Hey everybody, welcome to the Crohn's Fitness Food Podcast, dedicated to raising awareness, sharing IBD stories, and offering support for those with Crohn's and colitis. Together, we can share knowledge, experiences, and help show the world the many faces of IBD. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today for another episode of the Crohn's Fitness Food Podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Gish, Crohn's warrior since 2006 and lifelong fitness fanatic. My guest today is Patrick Lee, who is the co-owner of Tropical Smoothie Cafe in Hicksville, New York. Diagnosed in 2007, Patrick has been learning to manage his Crohn's disease through a combination of medication, diet, supplements, and lifestyle. Thank you so much for joining me today, Patrick, and welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Good. All right, so as we get started, we know, those of us with IBD recognize how different each of our stories are. So why don't you start by telling me your Crohn's story, what led to your first flare and your diagnosis?
Okay. Well, it's been a long time since I explained to anyone about how I was diagnosed, but I'll try my best.
Yeah.
So leading up to my freshman year in college, I actually never had any issues with just with the digestion in general. But up on entering freshman year in college, maybe it's due to stress or just change in the environment. I caught this stomach flu, and I was weighing around 178, 180 pounds at 5'11", around weight. And I've been always athletic, just trying to do things that are, that you're meant to do as a human being. That's, what I always had in my mind. And from that stomach flu, I lost about 15 to 20 pounds in a week.
Wow.
So I wasn't able to eat anything. I was having, all those TMI symptoms of a stomach flu. And I just literally had I just ate plums, peaches, just fruits in general for the whole week. And, that's how I recovered. And from there, I got another stomach flu within a few weeks. And I was literally going to the bathroom 30 to 35 times a day with, it's too much information, but, blood.
Yeah. Well, we've all been there. Those of us with IBD, we've been there. I've been there. So the audience here knows and appreciates you sharing. So. But go ahead and continue.
Okay. So I went to the ER, and they gave me actually like Flagyl, the antibiotic, to see if that's gonna, that was gonna calm me down, but it didn't help. So I ended up making an appointment with a gastro, and he told me that maybe we should do a colonoscopy. And from there, the biopsy confirmed that I, had Crohn's. So that's how I got diagnosed. It wasn't the best because I was, it was just my first semester in college, and it happened. It was a lot to take in. I mean, for anyone who gets diagnosed, first time, it's a lot to take in. You have to be they tell you have to be on medication for the rest of your life.
How did you process it when you first heard that and started learning medications and what it was going to entail? How did you process it? Did you lean on people or just kind of start researching and learning more about it? Did any of that help?
Yeah, well, I was doing a lot of research. I was studying biochem at the time, so this was something that kind of intrigued me. I didn't know there were diseases like this that people were suffering with. I just had no idea. And just being diagnosed with this, it was, I took it as like a challenge, but at the same time, it was just so much to take in. And, I was asking, why me? Right? Why me? Why does it need to happen, to me? I was just questioning a lot of that. I had, I was confused. It wasn't, mentally, I wasn't, in a great state at the time. I had a lot of things happening with friends and family due to making, being stupid and making mistakes as a teenager. And it was, I just didn't want to tell people about it. So only my family members knew, my brother, my mom, and maybe like two of my friends. My pride my pride didn't let me like share it with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I just people around my age, they don't really talk about things like this, and it's just not normal. So I
Yeah.
kept it away from most people. Yeah.
I think that's so common with so many of us because it's not necessarily common dinner conversation, especially for the younger generation. And so I think I know I had so many of the same thoughts that you were just talking about when I was diagnosed, that, you know, you view it as a challenge, but it's a lot to take in. It's hard to process, and it's not something you want to talk about. And so it's definitely difficult that way, because I know for me as well, just my family knew, but I really didn't talk about it for many, many years. So,
Yeah.
well,
Because it's just embarrassing in general.
Yeah.
It's just embarrassing to talk about it.
But that's why I think, especially conversations like this today, I think it's so important to start sharing, and it really invigorates me and excites me to see so many people out there starting to talk about and share their stories, because just like you, I had no idea what Crohn's disease or that Crohn's and colitis, anything like this existed until I got it, and then all of a sudden you're in a whole new world. So you seem to be like you're in a good spot right now. From talking with you a little bit before, it sounded like 2018 was a really rough year, but you seem to be managing everything really well and in a good spot. So tell me, what did it take you to finally get to this point?
Well, no one knows exactly how the future is going to turn out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that things will turn out for the better in 2019. But I just went through a lot of things. I spent thousands of dollars. I went to California. I went to this Jeju Island in Korea to learn about acupuncture, Eastern medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I did a bunch of. I also saw like an integrative doctor. His name is Dr. Ronald Hoffman in
Mm-hmm.
New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing doctors like that, they don't accept insurance, so it was just way too costly. But I just knew that I had to see people who are the experts in this area to get better. But even after trying all those things, I always relapsed within 4 or 5 months of trying it. I tried Humira, Remicade, Entyvio. They all failed. Same with prednisone. I have to be on at least like 120 milligrams, 80 milligrams. It's pretty high dose to get me settled down. It just I don't know. I think I'm in a good position, but it's just I think I got lucky at the same time from trying all these different things like CBD oil, kratom. I am taking Stellara injections just to be safe, because that's something that I haven't really developed like tolerance to yet, or I didn't become immune to that medication. So I'm taking that every 8 weeks or 7 weeks, I believe, around that time. So that's what I'm doing. And anxiety was a big issue for me. It's been always the biggest issue since getting diagnosed. And I couldn't even drive. I couldn't even I couldn't even go outside because anxiety was so bad. The palpitation that I was experiencing in like maybe 2009, 2010, leading up to from getting diagnosed, it was way too much for me to handle. But I gotten better at managing it. Exercising alone just wasn't enough. But yeah, it took a lot of.
What are some of the ways that you found to manage that anxiety and to be able to get past that hurdle?
Meditation is one of them, but not everyone can get into that state of mind, to meditate. So I did a lot of research, and there's an amino acid called L-Theanine. It's pretty much found in green tea, but you have to drink a copious amount of it to even get like 200 to 500 milligrams of L-Theanine. And from just trying that out, I took it every day for months, and I just, wasn't really anxious anymore. And I got off of it. I only take it as needed. And it just got better from taking that. I feel like these supplements, though, people think that you get addicted with anything, but it's not. I don't think that's always the case, but people have that kind of stereotype in their mind. But you can always, cut down and,
And I think when people don't know exactly what a supplement does or what it is, then there's a tendency to maybe reject it or push it away. So it's definitely worth, if it's something you hear about, researching it and looking into it, to give it a try, that, you know, to know what the facts are, that, you know, and what to do
Yep.
in your own plan with it.
Yeah.
So how did you get into
And
the meditation? Because I always find that interesting. Was meditation something that came naturally to you, or did you follow different guidance or advice on how to do self-meditation?
It's well, because my mom's she's a Buddhist, so I actually volunteered and went to a Buddhist, like a Zen center, in high school. It was like a Korean, like a Buddhist Zen center located in Queens. There's one really big one, and I pretty much went there every Sunday, and we, you know, it's pretty much we talk about things that relates to like psychology in a way. It's like a study of your true self. We talk about a lot of things like things like asking yourself who you are, who's your, you know, true self, and we have discussions. It was very different. It's something that I never really get to experience, you know, outside of that place. And going there every Sunday, you know, helped me, you know, how to meditate. And even though it's like considered as an Asian thing, a lot of times, I don't think it should be considered like that. It should be open to more people. I know that it's more open to people now, but not a lot of people get to experience that kind of, you know, things. And that's how I got into it. But I stopped going once I entered college. I just go on and off here and there with meditation, though. Yeah.
It's a lot to juggle in life the more we start taking on. So let's talk a little bit more about supplements and diet and lifestyle. You mentioned the L-Theanine, and since that time, have you been trying different supplements that you have found do work, or maybe they do not work? And then kind of segue from that, and then we'll talk about some food and other stuff.
Okay. So at my worst point with Crohn's, I went down to 105 pounds.
Oh, wow.
While, you know, staying tall at 5'11". I actually have a photo of, you know, myself, you know, in my Instagram page when I weighed that much. But I was literally eating just rice, cooked, soft cooked, you know, white rice for 2 months, nothing else, just water. Even drinking a lot of water made me have like, you know, stomach pains, like intestinal crampings, and I had to use the bathroom within like 30 minutes of drinking water, which is pretty bad. Yeah. And I was still taking, you know, steroid, prednisone, and they just didn't work. And as years went by, I just started, you know, trying different supplements, and the kratom is something that I found in 2016. It's a very controversial, you know, I guess supplement.
You said creatine, right?
No, kratom.
Kratom?
K-R-A. Yeah, kratom. So
C-R-A-T-U-M? I'll kind of write that down.
K-R-A-T-O-M, yeah.
Oh,
kratom.
I've never heard of that. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Sure. So it's the scientific name for this is Mitragina speciosa. It's a plant. It comes from a plant that's related to like a coffee plant, and it's grown in countries like Malaysia, Thailand, and the FDA, you know, they've been trying to ban it for years now because people are able to get off of like opioids, you know, Suboxone, things like that from taking this, and have less withdrawal symptoms. So the way it works is it targets it kind of targets the opioid receptors in your brain. So you could say that it works like you know, a painkiller, but you could come off of it easily. It all depends on the individual. You know, anyone can abuse anything, even coffee. Someone can abuse it.
Right.
You know, anything. You know, even with
water,
alcohol,
we can water. We can have too much of that. So.
Yep. And I also have fibromyalgia. I have this pain all over my body. It's inexplicable pain that I have all over my body. I developed it maybe in 2015. And having like pain every day, waking up, it made me so depressed. I wasn't able to do much throughout the day. I was just in bed for, you know, pretty much 12, 13 hours just in bed doing nothing, just staring at the ceiling. I had a lot of times like that, and made me depressed, made me have negative thoughts. And I was on Reddit, and I found kratom. That's how I found kratom. And I found a person who actually sells it, but they don't call it a supplement just in case they get sued or due to the liability issue. They sell it as like a scent, it's something like candles, or something. Yeah. So I got it off of him on a website, and I reached out to him, what it does and what people take it for. And he said that a lot of people with like back pain, or after coming off from like a car accident, people go on opioid, literally drugs, right? The painkillers, and they get hooked on it. And he told me that people who get hooked on those painkillers, once they start taking kratom, they can come off of it safely without having such bad withdrawals. That's how I got into it. But I just hate the fact that I have to be taking something every day. I don't have a addictive personality, so thinking about the fact that you have to take something every day, that just isn't me. So I hated that notion. So I was taking it maybe once or twice a week. But when I took it the first time, the pain scale, maybe let's say it was at 8, went down to 3 or 2 on good days, after taking within 30 minutes of taking it.
So that's significant.
And that's why, it's really big. And there's so many different strains, so you have to make sure you try different strains to find out which one works for you. And once I found the right strain, and I started rotating like the strain so that you don't develop tolerance to it. And from then, it's like with the pain management, it's gotten better. I don't take any Tylenol. I don't take aspirin. I mean, you're not supposed to be taking aspirin or ibuprofen in general for Crohn's, because I'm sure you know. But with kratom, my appetite sometimes it just comes back because I'm in less pain, and I can work out better from taking it. I just became a more functioning person. In general from taking it. And CBD oil for insomnia, it worked a great deal for me.
So then do you continue to take the kratom now periodically? Do you take that or consistently?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I only take it as needed because some days, if you have, if you're doing a lot of things, let's say you did a lot of things the day before and maybe ate something that you're not supposed to, the next day you're not going to feel at your best, right? So on those days, I make sure to take it maybe once or twice a day so that I, stay myself and do the things I need to do with work. And you just become I don't know if it's from euphoria. You do get like slight euphoria, but it's not like you get high off of it.
Right.
But yeah, I just became more a functioning person in general from taking. So I take it maybe, I would say at least 3-4 times a week. And I only take it like twice a day if I need to. Maybe 3 times if I'm, if it's really raining out, the weather's bad and making me feel even more crappier, then that's what I do. And I only drink black coffee, pretty much. And when you take kratom with coffee, you just become more focused, and it gives you that, awareness that you don't usually have. You might say you could become addicted to it, but as long as you control it and take it, at the times that you need, I think most people will be okay with it. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say much.
Yeah, that sounds like a good approach, a good way to do that and incorporate it.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit more about CBD. That's actually something I've just been recently getting into as well. So tell me your experience with it, what got you down that path, what you've noticed with it, and kind of what you've learned about incorporating that into your lifestyle.
Sure. With CBD, I recently, I heard about it through Joe Rogan's podcast. He talks about it all the time, and how it's helping them recover with certain injuries. Like there's even like topical creams that contain CBD. So that's how I heard about it maybe almost 2 years ago. And I went on this website. I don't get paid by them. I don't work for them, but I went on this website, Bluebird botanical.com or something, and they sell the 6 times concentrated versions. So it has about 3,000 plus milligrams. I forgot the dose exactly, but it's like 6 times concentrated as opposed to like the regular one.
Yeah.
So it's you just take it. I actually put into my own capsules, and I just take it this way. I don't taste it, and it goes down deeper into the intestine. That's how I take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I take too much though, I do feel too sleepy the next day, kind of like less motivating in general. But if I take it when I can't sleep or when I'm feeling anxious at night, it helps me go to bed faster. And I actually give it to my family members, and they benefit a lot from it. And just body aches in general, it helps a lot. And I did notice that like the stomach, intestinal crampings, things like that were better from taking it. So with this and kratom and a little bit of, I also take coffee bean extract. It helps me a great deal. It has caffeine, but I try not to abuse it. But yeah.
What does the coffee bean extract? What does that do, or what does it help with?
So it's pretty much it has a lot of it has caffeine, right? But I don't like to drink things like Red Bull, whatever, to stay awake. But when I need a little bit of that stimulating effect to get things done, it's pretty much like drinking black coffee, but it's in a pill form, so it's easier. So you don't have to get coffee from maybe Starbucks or wherever, or you don't even need to spend time making it at home. So I just have that in my, car all the time, just in case I need it. And it also brings down the pain when you're experiencing it. So it just works together, has that synergy effect with all those things.
That's fantastic. Do you feel like this is the best control you've had as far as management-wise? Do you find that all of these different things are finally allowing you to be in a good spot right now?
Yes. So Stephanie, I was in a really bad state earlier this year, though, mentally. I just had a lot of negative thoughts, and I'm sure you do too, but everyone has bad days here and there. And all I want for people to, be is, their best version, if they can, if they try, throughout the day. And that's all I want for myself, so that I could help others when I need to, and I could do things, so that I could get them done when I need to, with work. I have a lot of papers to go over on a daily basis in general. I also do payrolls, etc. for my employees. So, it's just all these things combined. It's just helping me, stay on top of my game.
Yeah.
Same with going to the gym. Like some people think that you have to exercise no matter how bad you feel, but when you're flaring, going to the gym isn't going to make you better. I mean, if you do lightly, yes, but then if you go too hard, that's going to make you worse. You're not going to be able to recover. So there's a lot more things I take. I'm also into nootropics. It's a group of supplements that help you stay. It just brings up your cognitive performance. But they're considered as supplements, so I guess they're kind of natural. But with anything, like I said, you can get hooked on it. But there's a lot of like the racetam, like oxiracetam. You could take choline, CDP choline, just combining things to so that you function better. There's so many things that people can try, just that they're not, they don't read about it or hear about it that often until they find like a YouTube channel or run into someone on Instagram that maybe is advocating it.
Yeah.
So it's hard for regular people to even like hear about it, But there's a lot of things you can try.
Which is why I think it's so important for us to talk about and share our stories, because you never know, just hearing one person's experience or story with something can really be, life-changing in your own life. I know for me, all of the different people I've listened to and followed over the years, I take a little bit from each one, and I'm able to try and optimize and find different things that I never would have thought about before. So I think it's really important to share and to do that.
Yes.
And I
It is.
also
I mean, we're in this game together. So,
exactly,
you know.
exactly. And I also kind of just want to touch on, you mentioned just the emotional side of it. I think people don't talk about the mental battle and how difficult it can be with IBD, because it's almost as if one day you're feeling good and you're on top of your game, and then you have one setback, but because it happens so often, the setbacks just make you spiral so hard and fast because they come on so abruptly or just out of the blue. So I think that's important to talk about as well. Just finding that support, sharing stories, building your support network, and knowing that we are fighting this together, that we're not alone, that can help you through
Yeah.
some of those mentally challenging times.
Yep. Um, I mean, I do see a therapist once a week. Even 2 years ago, I was against seeing, the psychiatrist or therapist in general because I thought I wasn't crazy, and
Right.
I just didn't want
Just
to admit that I needed help.
had some
But
stigma to it, or
yes,
just, yeah.
and my thoughts changed. My perspective, changed, and I just thought that as a human being, we're in this together, and you should seek for help if you need to, and if you have all the resources that you need, you have to get help, then why not, right? And talk
Right.
to them and get the help that you need. I mean, why do we even pay insurance, right? So that we could
To
see
get
doctors and
help.
get help that we need. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're paying for insurance and you're not even doing, you're not even using it, what's the whole point of paying it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so I started seeing therapists here and there once a week or, once every 2 weeks, and it's been very helpful. I get the insights from the therapist that I, pretty much will never have just from my perspective, and
Right.
that's been, it's been a good thing.
That's
But
wonderful.
I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know if I should admit this, but back then I was really just down with everything, and I decided to. I'm just admitting it because I think people need to talk about it more often. I
Yeah.
decided to admit myself to psych ward myself. So I drove down there and told them that I was feeling this way, and what can I do? And the thing is that I had no idea that they lock you up.
Oh.
I had no idea. So I honestly, I had no. I thought this only happened in the movies. So they
Right.
lock you up, and they pretty much, I don't know, they just set you up with a group of people in this limited space, and you have no access to phone. You just eat crappy, like sugary food that they give you, and talk to the psychiatrist maybe once or every 2 days, and talk to a counselor. So I was there only for about 3-4 days because they knew that I wasn't, like depressed, trying to, maybe kill
Right.
myself or anything like that.
But you
So
had
most people
the
I hear,
knowledge and responsibility enough to say, I need help and this is the
yeah,
route to do it. And so that's really
yep, I
commendable.
thought it was, yes.
So
So
how was that
yeah,
process?
it was life changing. Seeing things that I never thought, happen. Like there's so many things that went on in there. I noticed, I was attending group therapies in there, and some people actually chose to be there because they didn't have family and they were always in pain and they didn't have money to pay for their rent or buy, food for themselves. So it was very shocking to me. I got very emotional up on, getting out of that place because there are so many things that people experience that you just don't hear about or you just don't see. And there's so many unfortunate ones that you just not in touch with. And just being in there, being away from your phone, just with a group of people who, need help in general
Right.
with their mental state, it was just life-changing. I can't put it in words. It was just life-changing in general. I mean, so I appreciate this life a lot more now.
Yeah.
But it's very sad to see some people who are like that. Even they're like 40, 50 years old, and they have that kind of mindset. And some are war veterans. They've been in wars, and they are still suffering from, the
PTSD.
PTSD. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing as in like it's crazy how things are playing out for them. They they need more help, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no one, size, fits all kind of solution for every individual. So
Yeah.
it's
For
really sad.
anything, our minds and our bodies are so complex that it really is a process. No matter what it is we're battling, it's really a process to find support, whether it's emotional or nutritional, mental, physical, finding that support and getting the tools we need to battle whatever it is we're battling is important. So that's really a
Yeah.
remarkable situation that you were in and that it was able to change and be so profound for you.
Yeah, it was it was crazy.
Yeah.
Let's put it that but life changing in a good way. Yeah, so I just want to help people if I can. I'm not gonna neglect myself to help other people, but I just want to help people when I can. Some people take it the wrong way. They think that I'm trying to make money off of them,
Mm-hmm.
or have some sort of intention behind all that. But look, I don't. It's sad to see that some people see it that way, but it's not like that with me.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah,
so tell me, when did you have the big, all of these things are life changing, and when did you finally say to yourself, I'm going to start sharing my story and really becoming an advocate the way you're doing now and sharing openly and talking about Crohn's disease? When did that happen for you?
so well, I always liked helping people,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't want to make my situation public because of my ego and I guess my pride. It
Mm-hmm.
just got in the way, and I never wanted to share about having Crohn's because all the symptoms. It's so
Yeah.
embarrassing,
It's not
and I
dinner
mean, who wants to hear
conversation
about
is,
someone?
yeah.
Yeah, and after this, maybe July, 2018 July, we had a big event at our cafe. We raised money for kids with illnesses for Camp Sunshine,
Mm.
and it
Mm-hmm.
it cost pretty much $2,500 to send one full family so that
Wow.
the kid who's ill, they might have cancer or kidney disease, whatever, they
Mm-hmm.
can have fun and be normal under the supervision of doctors. So we were having that event, and we had a lot of people come in. And after that day, had passed, I was just looking over what can I do to help more people, maybe bring out the awareness with any illnesses. What can I
Mm-hmm.
do? And you know, I just decided to create like Instagram page with maybe like in October.
Mm-hmm.
From that day on, I just changed,
Yeah.
and I decided to make an Instagram page, and maybe just to tell people that even the person who weighed around at 105 at 5'11 can have life changing moments, and be functional as a normal human being just like others. They just wanted to make that announcement, so that I could bring out the awareness.
I think
That's
it's wonderful.
the biggest
Mm-hmm.
point. Yeah.
It's so important, and it's
Yeah.
just, I encourage anyone who's even thinking about sharing a story that they have to do the same thing, whether it's Crohn's or a different illness. Talk about it, raise awareness. It's important.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit more about food and lifestyle, because I think from what I gathered, you're doing a keto diet. You're also doing fasting.
Yep.
Talk to me, because we know as IBD patients, food is different for everybody. One thing that sets me off is a safe food for someone else and vice versa. So tell me about your experiences with food and what impact it does or doesn't have on your IBD and where you're at now.
Sure. So one thing that I try to stay away from, pretty much all the time is milk. I mean, I could have cheese here and there with milk. I mean, I drank a lot of milk as a kid, even in high school, and I was drinking chocolate milk even right before getting diagnosed with Crohn's. And I just thought that it makes you stronger, makes your bone more dense.
You
I just
listen to
had
the
that,
commercials.
Yep, that's where you become, you get brainwashed. But yeah, so ever since staying away from milk, I get less sick now, like with catching cold. Yeah, it's amazing. Like it's a big change. Like since avoiding milk,
Wow.
I have less phlegm. I'm less congested, and that's one thing I try to stay away from. At all costs. And another thing that I kind of stay away from are nuts. I mean, I do consume here and there with some like almonds here and there, but when I binge on them, I do notice that it does cause some issues with like mucus, things like that, and sometimes like raw kale, they cause problems for me when I blend them up and just drink like bunch of raw kale in a juice, like a smoothie form. With spinach, it seems to be okay. So those three things are the ones that I stay away from at all costs.
Yeah.
And refined carbs, wheat products, I try to stay away as much as I can. But sometimes when you don't really have anything to eat, I do consume them. I'm not gonna lie and say that I am perfect with my diet. I do keto at least. I just consume a lot of meat products in general. I try to stay away from pork, though, but I do consume pork here and there. I don't know. Maybe it's just too oily for me, fatty. So I try to stay away from pork, but I do consume it maybe once every 2 weeks or once a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do keto diet. Maybe 3-4 days of the week, just veggies, stir-fried veggies with like avocado oil, and steak is pretty much what I eat. And some days I do refeed my body with some simple sugar, carbs or simple sugars that I get from fruit, like grapes, and that helps me recuperate from like workouts better. I noticed that I'm not gonna try to be like an Olympic lifter all the time and lift heavy things every day. I just can't do that. It's not about that anymore.
Health.
I used to be like that with health comes before anything. It's about the longevity now. So I try to go easy most days, even with workouts. Weight is not the biggest concern anymore. It's not what I'm looking
Well,
more weight isn't what I'm looking to do.
Tell me more a little bit about working out, because it is a big part of your life, and you're doing obviously some great strength training and some different things to stay fit, but balance that with IBD. So are there certain types of exercises that you found works well day to day, or maybe when you're flaring or when you're not flaring?
Well, I do light cardio here and there now, just running on treadmill with incline. The one thing that the one perspective that really changed within me is that I want to be functional now. I don't want to be like no offense, I'm not to people who are so big, like meatheads. I'm not trying to be like that anymore. I used to want to be like that, like those bodybuilders in the covers of magazines, right? But for me, it's not about that. I just want to be functional. What's the point of getting so strong if you can't even run a mile without dying, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So that's the whole point. I do a lot of kettlebell exercises with maybe 45 to 60 pounds. I just do a lot of those functional movements. I did injure my left shoulder like 2 months recently, 2 months ago. I dislocated it from doing various things. But MMA, mixed martial arts, that's one of the things that I do here and there. I go to UFC gym here in on Long Island in New York, and it's just great. You feel good. You have all these good hormone, things coming out of your brain, saying that you feel good. Dopamine, epinephrine, they're very big in how you feel. If you're lacking them, and you're just not going to feel good for that day. And just doing light cardio and mixed martial arts, it's just helping me feel better. I guess no one really knows what makes you feel good, but my psychiatrist told me that when you're low on dopamine and norepinephrine, things like that, you're not going to be at your best.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe it's my exercises are affecting it, so that I produce more of them. But that's what I do mostly now. I'm not all about benching 300, 200 pounds. It's not about that anymore.
It's about moving and being healthy and living the best life that you can.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about, since we know IBD is a disease of remissions and periods of flare-ups, how do you manage? Do you find that there's certain tips or tricks you revert to and rely on when you do go into a flare? How do you prepare your body when you feel the symptoms and the signs that you might be going into a flare?
The first thing that pops up is my level of, I guess, tiredness, fatigue. Like it just gets to the point where I don't want to get out from my bed and do anything. That's the first thing that hits me. But that tells me that something's wrong and it might, turn into a flare. I can never be sure, if it's going to happen or not. But just over the years of trying different things here and there, I became very confident in what things I do to prevent it. Maybe I'm being too cocky about it, but I just became so confident that I know what to take when this happens and when that happens to prevent it. And even with supplements, to be honest with you, I have maybe 150 different supplements at my house, and I don't take same thing every day. I always switch it up so that it fits the symptoms that I experiencing, or to produce different desired effects, so that I feel and I do my best. But it doesn't always work out. It's always trial and error. Yeah. So I have this journal that I write down every other day. Not every day though, but every other day to see.
Every other day is still good.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how I deal with it. If I get into the details, I did get into details with kratom, CBD oil, coffee bean extract, but there's so many things you can try, and it takes years to kind of know what your body is like, because everyone's body's different. You cannot tell someone to take this one thing and you're gonna be okay, because you just don't know that. Same with medications. One thing might work for you, but it might not work for me or other people. So it takes time.
How has the process been kind of choosing which supplements you want to use? Do you just kind of, over the years, is it maybe I'm feeling tired, so I'm looking for supplements that'll give me energies, and just kind of a one thing at a time, you kind of break it down and discover what it is you need? Or do you have another way to go through that process?
So with fatigue, it happens a lot more when you're coming off of prednisone, right? In general, for people with IBD, right? I don't know if you noticed it, but when people are coming off of prednisone, when they're lowering the doses, your adrenals, they're not functioning well. And something for that, there's something called DHEA. It's like a precursor to even sex hormones that you produce with your adrenals, right? And something like that could even help with fatigue greatly if you take it in maybe 25 milligrams or 12.5. You just don't know how it's going to turn out until you try it for days or maybe even weeks. And like I said, with these things, you can't really tell someone else to take it, because it might hurt them or maybe do more damage than doing good. So you have to talk to your doctor about it. They might not give you the best answer. They probably don't even know what to do about fatigue. They say, eat more greens, or I don't know. They don't tell me the things that I need to actually get better most of the time.
Well, I was just going to ask you, how have your doctors responded to all the different things that you've been trying? Do you keep them in the loop? Are they supportive, or do they just kind of, they don't know what to do? Or tell me a little bit about that.
So my GI doctor, his name is Dr. Mordecai Dicker. He's very open-minded about a lot of things. So do you know about L-Theanine, low-dose naltrexone?
I've heard of that.
It's used for people with autoimmune, people with lupus, even rheumatoid arthritis or MS. It helps them when it works for them. And he never heard of it, and I brought him the studies that Penn State did, and upon reading it, he just prescribed it right away. So as long as you find doctors who are open-minded and you bring in the studies, I think it's a great doctor to have around. Anyone who's open-minded like that. And I tell them about everything. Same with kratom. A lot of doctors are against it because they think that people can abuse it and they can become depressed once people start abusing and they come off of it cold turkey. So it's a controversial thing with kratom, but he's okay with it as long as my pain is down and I'm not taking codeine every day. happier that, I'm not taking things like codeine for my pain management.
Yeah.
So, yes, I tell my doctor about everything. They're not always supportive about the things I take, but as long as it works and, it shows in the blood test or, your clinical symptoms will show that you are getting better or you're staying in remission. And even if your C-reactive protein level, CRP, is low, you could still have all the symptoms as an IBD patient. That's something that my doctor found in me because my CRP level is very low within normal range, and I was still having bloody mucus, like diarrhea, at least 5-10 times a day. So that's something to watch out for. Blood work isn't always telling you all the things that you need to know.
It's not the whole story. Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, definitely not.
That's really exciting to hear that your doctor is so open-minded, and I hope that a lot of people, listening with Crohn's feel like they can bring up some of these things with their doctors, and I hope other people have experiences like that, because it really is refreshing to hear that you can bring the information to your doctor and he's responsive and helps work it into your overall management plan. It's pretty amazing.
But one thing that I haven't tried is fecal transplant. But I did have C. diff in 2016. So they quarantined me to like a one room, and I was in there for a while. But
were they considering a fecal transplant for that? Because I know that's a common.
Yeah, but they said only if I get it again, then I can get it done at the hospital. So that was my first time getting it. So it's the law, it's a policy of that they have in spot for I guess New York, like North Shore Hospital.
Yeah.
But so I couldn't get that, and yeah.
You've been through the ringer. There's been
I've been through a lot of things.
Definitely a lot. It's wonderful to hear you being so positive and to hear you constantly seeking ways to optimize your health and always strive for being better. It's very remarkable.
That's all I want for people too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what's the biggest challenge? Maybe you've already told me as we've been talking. But what's the biggest challenge you've faced since having Crohn's, and how did you get through it?
Traveling and making sure that your diet is on point when traveling. It's hard to find good food you're looking for, because you don't know the area and you just don't know what the places around, like the hotel that you're staying, offers. So that's one of the biggest things that I worry about when traveling. I'm going down to Florida in like late January this month, but that's one of things I fear. And when I'm flying, I think I might get pulled up on the side for carrying all these supplements. I'm not carrying like a lot of, but I do have enough so that they will notice that it might look abnormal. So that's another thing when I'm flying. So those are the ones so far.
Any tips for traveling then? How do you kind of prepare yourself knowing that you're going to be traveling or staying in different places? Do you have anything that helps get you through those challenges?
Well, with kratom, I know that it's banned in certain states, but in Texas, I know it's legal. In Florida, I know it's legal too. So it's not an issue there. So I always check with the the legalities of it before bringing things. Same with CBD. It's legal, but I just always check on that. And there's something called colloidal silver, which I take maybe 5 times a year, so that I don't get sick. Or before getting sick, I try to take it so that it helps me recover faster. But one time, I was going to California and I had it in my bag. And the agent said, "What is this?" And I should have had it in my luggage, but I was carrying it with me in a smaller bag that I had. And she stopped me, and she was testing it for drugs, I guess. But it was pretty embarrassing, right on the spot. Everyone watching. But it's just a colloidal silver in liquid form.
Yeah,
but,
I think I've got a bottle of that in my cabinet somewhere. So, is there one thing that you wish people knew about Crohn's disease or colitis but don't?
that one, it's very hard to answer for me.
Yeah.
I want to share it, but at the same time, I don't want to share it. Like the symptoms, it just, throws people off.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about bloody diarrhea,
Yeah.
it's not, like you said, it's something that you just can't bring out, and expect people to understand.
Yeah.
But,
And I
I don't know.
think,
What do you think, though?
I think sometimes people, they want to understand. And so I think for me, when I tell people, oh, it's bloody diarrhea, it's mucus, it's cramping, it's pain, and they, they want to empathize and say, oh yeah, I've, had the stomach flu before, or this or that. And so they kind of understand some of the physical gut elements that come with it. But I think it's so hard because there's this whole other mental aspect too of just you're good
Yes.
one day, you're not the next, and there's all these other complications that come with it that it's hard to, just as you've been saying, it's hard to get over that initial hurdle of, all right, I'm going to talk about Crohn's, and for a lot of us it's bloody mucus diarrhea, and how do you talk about that? So
Yeah. When people ask me about like what is Crohn's, right? I think the best answer that I've said, I think this might be the best answer, but I tell them that it's like having psoriasis or eczema in your gut.
mm-hmm.
So as in food going down, and it's already bleeding, and I have an open like cut, sores like that, and you're just scratching it down with like a fiberish kind of food, then it makes it worse. That's how I try to explain it when people have no idea what it is.
I think that's a great way to explain it. It's kind of similar. I've often told people that my body is just eating itself from the inside out, and because it's kind of how it feels at some points. But
yeah, it does. Yeah,
it is hard to describe. So if people want to keep up with you and follow your IBD journey, you mentioned your Instagram account. Can they follow you there? Can you mention what that is? And is there anywhere else that they can follow and keep up?
For now, I only have the Instagram page. It's a Patrick_Jaw, J as in Jimmy, A as in Alpha _Lee, Lee. That's the only thing that I have. But I'll try to post up more things that's relevant to IBD. I know that I have a lot of things that's irrelevant to IBD at the moment with my Instagram page, but I'll try to put up more things that's relevant to like making sure that you feel good, just things like that with supplements or Crohn's in general. I'll try to, my best to do that more.
I think with IBD, though, pretty much everything about our lives revolves around IBD. So even though you say, some of your posts are not necessarily IBD specific, I think in a way they are, because it's your life and it's how you're managing life with a chronic illness and not letting it hold you down or prevent you from doing the things you want to do and always improving and getting better. So I think it's important.
Yeah, I just want people to know that if I can do it, they can do it too. And if someone can do it, I can do it too. I just want to have that. I just want to put it out there. Just because you have Crohn, it doesn't mean you're limited to certain things. It just takes time.
Yes.
Getting to know yourself, your body, your disease, and talking about it will make it better as long as they are starting to understand it or they understand it. But bringing out to them, to their attention is it's important thing. That your friends or your close ones, it's important now. I think
it is. It's a great way to
just trying to keeping it to yourself. It's not good.
Yep, I agree. Well, is there anything else that I didn't ask you today that you wanted to share with the audience?
Stephanie, I do want to ask how you manage your Crohn's. I don't know if this is the right time. Maybe I will ask another time.
No,
but I'm sure there are things that I could learn from you as well. I spoke of things that I do.
Yeah, I'd love to share. Basically, I've gone, and I'll do another podcast and go into greater detail about my story, but I've been, medication-wise, I've used Humira and Imuran were the ones that I kind of had went on and stayed. So when I first got diagnosed, it took from the time I had my first flare to when I actually got into the hospital, it was probably 4 or 5 months from my first flare to when I actually got to see a gastroenterologist. And so at that time, by the time I finally started to get help and care, I was in this weird state of, I was starting to do better, basically because I didn't eat for about 6 months. And so my body started to heal on its own. But so they suspected Crohn's at that time, but they didn't want to put a label on me. So I didn't get any medications or any help early on. So I kind of went through this gray area of just being symptomatic and not feeling great, but still being able to function. So it was about 3 years later, I finally went on Humira. They put me on a bunch of antibiotics and other things originally that didn't work. So I did Humira and Imuran pretty consistently for a few years, and that was working, but not 100%. So I still had symptoms. I still had to watch what I ate, and I was still doing the injections every other week. So it was a few years ago I finally decided, let's see if I can control this other ways. And I think it's just because for me, being able to control food and supplements and exercise, I feel like it gives me control over the disease, which is, I think a lot of us feel like you're just at the mercy of whatever your body is going to do. So it helps me to feel like I have control. I did a whole slew of diets. I did a low carb diet. I did the specific carb diet. And for a little while, I started doing, a few years ago, I made a lot of fermented foods, homemade sauerkraut, fermented foods. I tried to eat all organic vegetables, and I was doing okay for a while. And I talked with my doctor, and he worked with me to taper off of the Humira and come off medications. And we did a colonoscopy right before I did that to make sure that I was in remission and in the best state to start this experiment when I did it. So he's been really supportive, which was incredible.
That's good.
And so I came off of medication for a while, and I was doing pretty good for a while, but then I was dating who's now my husband, and so we started to go out every week, and then I'd have a cheat meal, once a week. And
yeah, I know.
yeah, and the cheat meals were just my downfall. And it was probably 6 months into dating, and we're going through a flare-up, and he's living in a one-bedroom apartment at the time while he's building a house, and I'm, doubled over in pain trying to act like I'm normal. And so,
I know that is. I mean, I was eating like a DQ, for this, like a dessert with someone that I was kind of seeing recently, and even though it's not the best food. I shouldn't be eating that, but
yeah, but you want to fit in and enjoy life, and that's the hard part. But so at the time I even tried everything like the Atkins Vitanutrient solution, and the Atkins solution was something like 60 supplements and vitamins a day, and I tried that for a few weeks, and nothing was helping. So I finally, I went back to my doctor. I was like, it's not working, and I'm doing bad. So I went back on medication at that point again, and then I came off, and I think it's been maybe a year or 2 years now that I wanted to come off the medication again. So this is my second time I came off of my medication, trying to manage it just through diet. And I was doing a keto diet for a while, but then this past year, a year ago, January, I started the all meat carnivore thing, and that's been helping, but not 100%. Right. So now what I'm doing is.
Where did you hear about it?
I think I stumbled across it on the website called Paleo Medicina. It's a foreign website, and I forget where it's from, but they were talking about Crohn's disease patients following this Paleo Medicina, kind of this carnivore style diet. And then I came across a real obscure blog of this other girl who was following a meat only and doing well. And then I stumbled across the Sean Baker and Joe Rogan's podcast and heard about it there. So once I started learning that people actually ate like this, I was like, I'll jump in and give it a try. So it has been helping. I've been doing that for about a year, but it's not 100%. So I eat pretty much only meat because vegetables just kill me. And then I've started adding in CBD oil recently because I was still having symptoms. For me, my mucus is a very, like, my first sign of things going bad. It's just mucus. And so I started the CBD oil, and it's been really amazing. So I've got that in, watching my diet. Exercise definitely helps. I think it just makes my body stronger to be able to fight. And so I feel like I'm walking a tightrope right now. I'm doing pretty good, but at any minute I might slip and fall off.
Well, you just don't know with these things,
Yeah, you just don't know.
You don't know how it's going to turn out.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Raw milk, I'm actually a proponent. For me, I find the actual raw, straight from the cow dairy does seem to help. So I eat a pretty carnivorous diet with raw milk and CBD oil, and then some vitamin D because my vitamin D levels get pretty low. So I do supplement with that, and then K2. So.
Well, you know what's interesting though with fermented food?
Mm-hmm.
My body rejects it. I go into a full flare if I take the wrong probiotics.
Oh wow!
That's why I never touch probiotics now.
Wow.
I mean, everyone's taking it. Like for Crohn's, I know people take a VSL number 3 too, the prescribed one. And for me, it makes everything worse. I can't even have like fermented like sauerkraut, a lot of it. Then I'm going to have bloating. Honestly, I think it has to do with the intestinal flora. I think you and I, we both have different, intestinal flora, different bacteria, obviously living there. I think that's what it has to do with. But yeah, for me, it's weird. I can't really tolerate probiotics. That's one thing I don't touch. And milk too. Raw milk, I tried it, but it wasn't really agreeing with me. I was getting a lot of bloating. And diarrhea too. So I just stopped. Even though I drank a lot of milk as a kid, things have changed for me.
Yeah.
Maybe because I've taken a lot of antibiotics in between for Crohn's. I was on Flagyl and Cipro all the time when I was flaring, even though my body didn't agree with it, but it was a standard protocol once you get hospitalized from what the doctors told me. So I just don't know too.
And I think we change over time too, because I've noticed foods I'll eat in the past that now bother me. And so I think we change, and our gut, just you mentioned our gut flora and microbiota. I think that's going to be probably some exciting research in the next, 10, 20 years, but it really does make a difference, I think, with probably why some people do well eating meat and other people do well eating vegetables, and just kind of our gut makeup and what goes in there. So it's an interesting.
Some people change over to vegetarian, vegan diet, and they do well.
Yeah.
But it's just not for me.
For me, it's not for me. Lettuce is my...
Don't attack me for that.
Yeah, I know, me too. I would love to eat a salad, but salads do not love me, so...
Same. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Well, thank you for sharing yours too.
Yeah, you're welcome. And like I said, I'll share a little bit more. I don't want to make it a 2-hour Joe Rogan podcast, but I'll share more of my stories. But if you have other questions, I'm more than happy to answer anytime. So I really appreciate you visiting with me today. This has been absolutely wonderful, and I'm so excited that I'm able to meet you, visit with you, share your story, have other people share their stories, because I really do believe that us getting our experiences out there can help shape other people's experiences and give them some ideas or hope or things to try. So I think it's so valuable, and I really appreciate you sitting down and taking the time with me today.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate you having me on. And, it's just a combination of different things, that's going to help people. You can't just rely on one, because if it stops working, or if it then you gotta think about other solutions. You just have to keep trying things, and if it works for you, then keep going. But make sure that you have an open mind for other things, because they might work even better.
Yeah.
Right? So.
That's perfect. That's well said. The best way to put it. Just keep an open mind and keep trying. Thank you for listening to the Crohn's Fitness Food Podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have an IBD story, either as a patient or a family member that you'd like to share as a guest on this podcast, or if you have a topic you'd like to hear about, send me an email at crohnsfitnessfood@gmail.com. If you'd like to learn more about me and my Crohn's journey, follow me on Instagram using @Crohn'sFitnessFood, or visit my blog for in-depth articles about my struggles and victories with Crohn's through diet, fitness, and lifestyle at www.crohnsfitnessfood.com. And finally, remember, be strong, be grateful, and be the warrior that you are.